Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sunday Matinee. We are on episode 20. We've made it into the double of double digits, which is pretty cool. So I wish I could say this was like a super duper special episode, but we're still like in the beginning of 2021 and nothing cool has happened yet. Except for WandaVision, which we're not going to talk about because so many of you probably haven't seen it yet. That's an episode for yeah. That's an episode
Best
for March.
Thing Paul Bettany's done since Knight's Tale.
So, before I get started here with the news, let me go around and introduce the panel. Of course, coming back to the show, my all-time regular guest, Sarah Moore. Welcome back, Sarah.
Woo!
And joining us for the very first time, welcome Jalen Green to the Sunday Matinee.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. Yeah.
So, and actually, before I dive into the news, I do have a little blurb because we had some interesting developments last week in Washington State where certain establishments have started opening up at 25% capacity, and this has included movie theaters. Now, I personally am still saying, if you don't have to go to see a movie at the theater, just don't do it. We've been down this road before where we've started to open stuff up in this state, and all it takes is one event, one little super spreader, maybe not even a super spreader event, but once numbers start going up in the ICU again, we're going to have to start shutting things down. And honestly, I'm still of the opinion that it's best to just keep a lot of this stuff shut down until we are well into the vaccination phase of everything. Because I also just want to be able to go to movies with friends. It's so much more exciting that way. Jalen, you've missed so many conversations on this show about that, but let me just go to you really quickly. How do you feel about theaters and restaurants and whatnot reopening right now, even if it's just at a small capacity?
I don't think it's a smart idea. But it's what they're allowing. So I probably won't go because there's not really anything that's coming to the theater soon that I'm jonesing to see. But or that I can't also see elsewhere. I think anything that's I think anything that I want to see that's coming to the theater is also going to be on HBO Max, which I have. So it's very easy for me to stay home and get through this. As soon as I'm vaccinated, then yeah, I'll probably go back to a movie theater. But until then, it has to be something Tenet worthy for me to go to the theater.
Yeah, we've predicted sort of our sort of predictions here. Sarah, particularly Sarah, Dea, and myself have sort of predicted that it's going to be probably October or November when theaters will probably be opening closer to 100% capacity. Hopefully, we'll have the majority of Washington State immunized by then, and hopefully they'll be doing it willingly. Please.
I kind of feel like I'm wondering if they're gonna like stay more at part capacity, like even once we get to I think they'll be open in the fall, but I'm wondering if they're gonna still be at lower capacity because I just foresee it's probably gonna be a while before they're gonna pack people in again. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, no matter what happens, it is probably not going to be until next year when it really feels like we're back to normal.
Yeah.
At least with cinemas, normal is completely normal. Goodness knows.
Nothing is ever normal.
It would take to be completely normal. It would probably take something as big as say Avengers Endgame or Return of the King or The Dark Knight or something like that to come out that we're just all like to see. And I'm not quite sure if we have that on the horizon yet, but I think as soon as that happens, I think that'll be a big help, as long as again we're all vaccinated.
There's a movie we're going to be mentioning in the big old list I have that I think could be the one, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Ooh.
So let's talk about the actual news for the week. So The Golden Globe and Screen Actors Guild nominations were announced this last week. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I felt lost reading them because so much of what was nominated is stuff that has been going straight to streaming. Not a lot of, because I didn't watch a lot of the stuff that went straight to streaming last year. It's kind of tough to get excited about these big films when you're not seeing them on the big screen. The only two direct-to-stream movies I watched last year were Jingle Jangle, which was a wonderful little Christmas film, and then Wonder Woman. And I am absolutely going to be watching a lot of the films that are coming to HBO because we all know about my addiction to Godzilla. So did you two get a chance to check out the nominations? Were you excited? Did you know what was going on? Did you feel that same sort of meh that I did? Just because, and again, there haven't been a lot of movies, period. On the TV side of things, this may be a little bit more exciting because, we've been getting a lot of TV this year. So, yeah. Sarah, what do you think?
No, I haven't taken a look. I used to be like super into all the award shows when I was younger. I've kind of lost I don't know. It just, over time they all started to feel kind of a little overly political to me. So I think I just kind of lost. And I kind of got busy, and so I didn't have time to like watch all the nominated movies the way I used to. So, and especially this year, I think I've watched like 2 movies this whole. I mean, I've watched more like TV series because, like I said, with a toddler, that's like easier to get in episodes of a TV show than it is to get in a full movie. I did just manage to watch the new Wonder Woman in like 3 increments because it's really long, but. But yeah, no, I haven't watched many of I haven't even watched Mulan yet, so or Soul. I need to see that one before Mulan. But
Soul is good. Soul is really good.
Actually, I did see Soul as well. So I'm sorry, everyone out there, I lied to you. You can no longer trust the validity of anything I say on this show. Jalen, did you get a chance to look at the nominations at all?
I did, and I've seen some of them on there. There's been a lot of really good stuff on streaming. I think movies that have gone direct to streaming have taken a big turn to the good this year. I mean, partly because of the pandemic, because a lot of studios are selling off their movies to streaming services so they can make money and continue to be in business. The Trial of the Chicago 7 is one of the best acted movies I have ever seen, period. Like, there's at least 10 performances from there that are all Oscar worthy. And Spike Lee's Da 5 Bloods was an absolute masterpiece. And honestly, like, Delroy Lindo is given one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my life in that movie. And I'm frankly shocked that he's not up for either of those awards for Best Actor. Wasn't nominated by the Golden Globes, was nominated by the Screen Actors Guild. I've seen some of the other things that have been nominated. David Fincher's Mank I might need to see it again, but I thought it was kind of lacking. I couldn't understand that. I was like, that's the one you're getting behind. But I think definitely Da 5 Bloods, Trial of Chicago 7, why was Hamilton nominated? I have no idea. Like, there was some real head scratching. Just like, Hamilton? That's a state. How is that yeah, I don't get it.
Well, you did mention, go ahead.
Oh, but any award show that isn't nominating Delroy Lindo for Best Actor, granted, I haven't seen a lot of the nominated performances because a lot of them aren't on streaming yet. But I'm very skeptical of any award show that isn't at least nominating him for Best Actor. Because I think it's. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you mentioned Da 5 Bloods is one of the ones I do want to see. I also want to see Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and I want to see those both, just particularly because for Chadwick Boseman, who I hear gives great performances in both of those as well. So, and yeah, that's another thing about the award ceremonies. Every year we've gotten to a point where the online debate is less about, oh, this is great versus what should and shouldn't have been nominated. That's become a huge part of the discourse, and I think that's part of what turns me off from awards seasons these days too. Is if you want to, I do think that we do need to be nominating a lot more BIPOC artists for sure, because they are putting in some incredible work. But at the end of the day, like, whether or not a movie you love wins an award, that does not change how much you should love that movie. And if you want to support that movie, go out and buy it, because if you give those artists your money, that's your number one way of supporting them right now.
That's why when I say it's gotten too political, I feel like award shows have gotten to the point where it's like, oh, David Fincher made a movie, we got to nominate it. Like Meryl Streep was in a movie, got to nominate. It's like it's like these same people over and over and over again. And I feel like they basically get their movie thrown in there because they're Academy Award people. Mm-hmm. That's the part that after a while is just like, it's so boring. It's like, oh, I know which 5 movies are going to be nominated. Maybe one will surprise me, but
And then sometimes Parasite wins Best Picture, and your faith is just restored in the entire mechanism.
Or my all-time favorite was when what was it? The movie that won that shouldn't have won, and it was Moonlight that won.
The La La Land.
La La Land. Yeah, when La La Land got announced and it was Moonlight, and it was like, and I actually had already been planning to see Moonlight that same night, so that was really cool that I got to go see it right after that amazing moment. So moving on in the news. So John M. Chu, director of Crazy Rich Asians, has been attached to direct Wicked for Universal. He actually just departed directing the Willow series on Disney Plus. So that might explain why he moved on to Wicked. I think he had to depart Willow because of either schedule constraints, or he didn't want to be like far away from family because they're probably shooting down in Australia or something. So that's cool. Wicked should be interesting. I don't know. When's the last time we got this is probably going to be like the biggest musical adaptation that we've seen in a while until they actually get Hamilton on the big screen, like really on the big screen, and not just on our small screens with Disney.
Well, he did one. I don't want to jump the gun on what we're going to talk about today, but I think John M. Chu also directed. What is the name? It's coming out this year. In the Heights. Didn't he direct In the Heights? I think he's directing.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. I believe you're correct.
One of the things that I'm looking forward to this year, In the Heights. It's been a while since we've gotten a big, gigantic musical. I think the last one we had was Les Miserables, or Into the Woods, I guess.
Oh yeah. Moving on from that, because we still got a lot more news, and it's eating up a little bit of time tonight, so we're gonna just breeze through some of this. So a Wakanda television series is in development at Disney Plus from Ryan Coogler. I don't even think I'm going to ask everyone how we feel about that, because I think we're all excited about that, and we're all, I've seen some of your posts, Jalen. It sounds like you're a pro Marvel person here, and so you'll fit in just fine.
Woo! MCU.
Yeah. Moving on to the lesser of two universes. Zack Snyder's Justice League has been given an R rating, which, that should be interesting. I imagine it's going to be for language and probably violent action scenes, because that's pretty, and probably some very violent slow-mo action scenes, because it's Zack Snyder. Again, I'm not terribly looking forward to it, but I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to talk about it on the show, because it would be incredibly hypocritical of me to not at least give it a fighting chance. So we'll see how that goes. And that actually is going to have an all new trailer dropping next Sunday morning. So I'll have something to talk about in the news on the show for that.
Oh, you get it on Valentine's Day. That's very
interesting choice.
Yeah. It's a 4-hour movie it's a 4-hour R-rated superhero film about the Justice League. I enjoyed the original version of Justice League, which is a very controversial opinion to have. Believe me, I know. And I enjoyed it in spite of the terrible CGI to remove his mustache. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to this. I have HBO Max. I'll be able to watch it for free. Bring it on.
I am at the very least very curious to see what it's like because, yeah, 4 hours. That is something.
This next, like the extended cut of Watchmen was, at least close to that.
I never caught the extended cut of Watchmen.
I did watch the extended cut of Watchmen once, where they actually put in like they did an animated like the story that was like within the book.
Oh, the Tales from the Black Freighter, yeah.
They animated that and cut it within like the. I watched it once.
Nice. That's one of the ones. One of the actors from Battlestar Galactica showed up in, I think, the director's cut. The guy, I forget the character's name, but he showed up and was like, "Hey!" He just has one line. He's like, "Dr. Manhattan's on Mars." That guy from Battlestar, yay, getting work, yay.
I used to love to point out Battlestar Galactica actors when they popped up, and Deadwood actors when they popped up.
Speaking of great films, that side tangent, sorry, but that finale that came out in 2019, I was almost going to say last year, but the little finale movie they had.
Oh, Deadwood? Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
think I've watched it yet. You need to watch it.
Wonderful. Oh, it's so good. It made me forgive the entire season 3.
It was really great.
So.
Oh, yeah.
You need to watch that.
I know. I still need to watch it. But moving on, this next bit of news I put in pretty much just for me because this is right up my alley. The Resident Evil reboot film has been set for a September release. I'm excited because I just gave up on the Milla Jovovich series after the second film, and I'm really excited that this reboot is going to be drawing a little bit more from the video games, because the video games are very, very cool and very much Romero-esque, at least the first handful. Yeah. So that'll be cool. So hopefully we're going to be seeing lots of mansions, lots of zombies, lots of mutant dogs, and lots of giant mutant guys in trench coats. That's all I want.
All those dogs.
And probably
I might actually like this one. It's like, ooh.
So probably the biggest film what we're talking about in the news here is, of course, Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland is describing Spider-Man 3 as the most ambitious solo superhero film, and he has teased the sort of rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are involved with the film. I actually have a couple of quotes here from him because he was so Tom Holland about it. Mm-hmm. When asked if what he knew about it, he says, "Beats me. I don't know. If they are, they haven't told me yet. That would be something that Marvel would do. I would watch the film and be like, so that's who that tennis ball was." So still no real confirmation. But then when he was asked, like, if he's actually met them on set, he got even more cheeky and he said, "Well, I've never met Kirsten Dunst. I met Andrew once. I met him at the BAFTAs. He was lovely. He was a really nice bloke and we had a nice chat. It was quite soon after Spider-Man Homecoming had come out. He was really positive and nice. I bumped into Toby a few times at different parties in LA. He was really nice. They seem to be lovely, really nice people. I hope they enjoy our movies. I hope they enjoy our Spider-Mans." So we still don't really know for sure. And Tom Holland, I think, has learned his lesson from his early days in the MCU when he would pretty much spoil everything whenever he was interviewed. Him and Ruffalo would spoil so much. I think that's why they always had to pair Tom Holland up with Benedict Cumberbatch, because he would be able to just shush him every time.
Right.
So So frustrating. I'm excited for this film, but it's so frustrating. I want so many rumors, so many crazy casting choices. I just want to know.
I'm hoping. I mean, I'm excited for everyone to come back, Alfred Molina and everyone to come back. But I'm just waiting to hear Willem Dafoe being confirmed for it, and that's when I'll be like, yes.
That would be something, because he's so far, I think, still the scariest Spider-Man villain in the movies, for sure. All right, moving on to some unfortunate COVID-related news. Fantastic Beasts 3 has stopped production as members of the crew have tested positive for COVID. On the other end of things, production on Mission Impossible 7 has resumed, which is great after Tom Cruise's little rant when they were breaking protocols late last year. I'm sure he's happy to be back at work, and I'm sure they're keeping that one locked down tight so that he doesn't have to do that again. And finally, this is rough. 2021 has gotten off to a really rough start. We have lost, just in the last couple of weeks, we have lost Hal Holbrook, Christopher Plummer, Cicely Tyson, and Cloris Leachman. It feels like the beginning of 2016 all over again.
Oh yeah.
And last year obviously was on top of just trying to live through the pandemic, losing Chadwick Boseman, Sean Connery, got so many beloved performers, and it just feels like it's blending all together. Time just means nothing right now, and it's particular. I think for me, it's particularly rough with Christopher Plummer because Knives Out was just a year ago, and what a that was the last
great flick.
That was the last movie I saw in the theater.
That's a lot. Wow. For a lot of people, it's probably one of the last movies I saw in the theater, and he gave such a great performance in that movie.
Yeah.
So we are just, yeah. I have a feeling we're going to be watching a lot of his films, as well as these other actors' films, a lot this year, just because they all had a huge influence on all of us. I can't imagine how many people watched Young Frankenstein the night that we all found out Cloris Leachman had passed away, because that's a performance for the ages, for sure.
And all four of these legends were all in their 90s, and we're still working till the end. Like I think all of them, they might still have some stuff that still needs to be released, but all of them were working up until they passed. And man, a huge loss.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that takes care of the news for the night. So our main story tonight is we're going to look at 2021. We're just going to go down a big old list of movies that are scheduled to release, we'll say, in theaters, because we're still not exactly sure how that works. So on this list, some of these films, this is for you, Sarah and Jalen. I noted a little asterisk. Those are, pardon me, films that have confirmed to be dropping on streaming services day and date with their theatrical releases that I know of for sure. I'm sure a lot of these films are going to be dropping streaming either day and date, or goodness knows what's going to happen. We'll talk about what may happen once we get through this big old list. So starting with the month of February, and again, this is not a complete list of everything that's supposed to come out this year. Some of these films will inevitably get delayed, not just because of the pandemic, but there are films that are scheduled to release in November, December that are currently in production and will probably just end up getting delayed for normal reasons like budget problems or special effects, and they'll end up getting bumped into 2022. So nothing is set in stone right now. The best. Huh?
I said closures for COVID, apparently.
The closest to absolutely set in stone we're probably going to get are the ones that are also dropping on HBO Max, because at least if you can't go see it in the theater, you can probably, if you have access to HBO Max, at least catch it at home, which would be nice. So, February.
Great streaming service.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan was wrong. He clearly doesn't have Peacock.
Peacock not good.
they have ads. Peacock has ads in their movies. Like when you watch a movie on Peacock, there are ads.
Very
annoying. Yeah, very, very bad. Bad Peacock.
So starting this week on February 12th, we're getting Judas and the Black Messiah, and that's dropping on HBO Max. I'm excited for that one just because it's Daniel Kaluuya, and ever since Get Out and Black Panther, he has been a star to watch. So that should be a good one, and again, one that I can watch immediately on the 12th.
Yep, I will be doing
February. Yeah. For February 19th, we have Nomadland. I put that on there. It's being directed by Chloe Zhao, who's directing Marvel's Eternals, and she's a rising star in Hollywood right now. So I'm really excited to see what she can bring to that. The Courier, which is a Benedict Cumberbatch Cold War spy movie, and that's why I threw that on there because Benedict Cumberbatch in a period piece is always fun.
I just saw the trailer for that. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks, yeah. And Blithe Spirit, I threw that on there because we're a bunch of theater geeks, and we know what's going on with that one. It's a fun ghost comedy. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
And then the last film I got for February, on February 26th, also dropping on HBO Max, is Tom and Jerry, which I don't need to see that one, but it's going to be a great little film for the kids to watch, and anyone who actually enjoyed Tom and Jerry. I'm more of a Looney Tunes person myself. So
never loved Tom and Jerry as a kid.
Or Disney. I'm just more of a Disney person.
Yeah.
I feel like there hasn't been Tom and Jerry since like the 80s. Like I feel like they've gone away for a long time.
Probably. Moving into March. On March 5th, we have Chaos Walking, which is that Tom Holland movie I brought up 2 weeks ago when I made that joke about how he's in everything. Him and Daisy Ridley in a crazy science fiction film in which Daisy Ridley crash lands on a planet in which there are only men, and they have this weird ability to read each other's minds and hear people's thoughts, and they just call it the noise. And it also has Mads Mikkelsen, and he is, of course, dependable in just about anything.
Yep.
So that should be a fun one. I kind of hope that one goes to one of the streaming services because again, that's one I'm interested in. March 5th, we're also getting Raya and the Last Dragon, which will drop on Disney Plus for the premium price of $30, much like Mulan was. And yeah, that's rough. But I've said it on the show before. I am probably going to spend the $30 because it's a Disney animated film. They've been on a roll for the last decade. Pretty much starting with Tangled, almost everything they've dropped is just gold. So, yeah. And the trailer for this one looks really good.
Yeah, they really haven't had any misfires over the last 10 years.
It doesn't seem like it was too long before Mulan went on regular Disney Plus too. So.
Yeah, it was only 3 months.
Like a few months. Yeah.
So if you're not willing to lay down that $30, and I absolutely understand if you don't want to do that, it'll probably be streaming in their regular service by June. The last film that I put for March, because March seemed like a pretty dead month, was, of course, finally, after so many delays, even pre-COVID delays, with a trailer that dropped just last week, I think, Godzilla versus Kong. I'm so excited for this one. I've already said that there's going to be a whole series of episodes leading up to this release. So I'm not going to talk any more about it. I'm just super excited.
The whole month of April. or March.
And yeah. Moving on to April. April was a pretty dead month just on the IMDb list, period. April 2nd, we have Nobody, which stars Bob Odenkirk and looks kind of like a Liam Neeson-esque action film where he plays just a nobody who ends up getting into a scrap, and then they all find out, oh, this guy's a professional killer. So that could be interesting. Yeah,
it has the John Wick screenwriter as well, so maybe it'll be maybe look at the step team too, because I love those John Wick flicks. They're so good.
And then April 16th, we have Mortal Kombat. So I've been talking occasionally about video game adaptations on this show. This one, I'm talking about how I want good ones. This one doesn't have to be good. This one just has to be Mortal Kombat. I think that's all anyone's expecting out of this film is just ridiculous Mortal Kombatness. Don't try and make it good. Just, yeah.
And that's dropping on HBO. Yeah. We'll see how slow 2021 is. Maybe it'll sneak under the radar there.
Yep. All right, moving on to May. This is where we're going to start to see quite a few more films, which is not a big surprise. This is the sort of the traditional start of the summer movie phase here in the U.S. This is also where we might get lucky and start seeing drive-ins open back up. They were open all the way through December. The Skyline Drive-In down in Shelton was open and playing Wonder Woman in the last few weeks of December. So they're obviously going all in with drive-ins right now. So we may actually even see drive-ins open sooner than that. Once we get to maybe late March or early April, once we really get out of sort of the really bad winter stuff where, well, it hasn't been a bad winter yet. We'll see. But May 7th, finally, a year later, we finally will get to see Black Widow.
And I really hope there's a drive-in I can go see it at. I want to see it out on the big screen.
I will be shocked if this one actually, all the movies in the summer, if they actually hold their dates. But yeah, Black Widow. Woo!
Yep, there's drive-in. There's also the possibility that this one could drop onto Disney Plus. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They really, at this point, can't afford to delay their movies too much more if they are meant to sync up with the Disney Plus television series, especially since we already know that WandaVision is supposed to lead into Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We can't delay these movies too much more without affecting that Disney Plus release schedule as well.
Yeah.
So May 21st, we have Free Guy, which is Ryan Reynolds as an NPC, which for those of you non-gamers out there stands for non-player character in a video game who suddenly sort of gains an awareness of his surroundings and actually tries to become a part of the game or something. I don't know. But it's Ryan Reynolds doing his shtick in a video game world. And the trailer was just brilliant. It said something like this is from the studio that did like Tangled and all those Disney animated films, and then proceeded to show Ryan Reynolds doing his basic R-rated shtick. So it was wonderful. On May 21st, we also have Spiral. Oh, what was Spiral?
That is a reboot of the Saw franchise.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Chris Rock's Saw reboot.
Yeah.
And I think Samuel Jackson's in it too, or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep, I knew there was definitely a reason I put that one on there. I never got into the Saw films, but they obviously were a huge franchise in the first decade of this century. And a solid reboot sounds like something that the series needs. And the trailer for it, when back in the before times when they had the trailer for this film, it looked really good. So looking forward to that one.
I'll have to check it out. I've seen the first couple of Saws. I enjoyed them, but I
first
didn't
one
see.
was good schlocky fun.
Yeah, this nice twist at the end. Like it's
Overacting by Carrie All was good.
Ooh, so much, but Carrie can kind of get away with that. I mean, I'd say that. I mean, Princess Bride is probably the most subtlety you'll ever get out of Carrie always. But yeah, I'm excited.
So fast forward 1 week, and May 28th we have Fast 9, which just got a Super Bowl trailer, which I haven't watched. I never got into the Fast and the Furious movies. I've seen the first two. I've heard that once you get to the fifth one, they sort of completely change gears and become more action focused. I don't know. It still hasn't really been my cup of tea, but I got to mention it because it is one of Universal's like most successful franchises, like period. It's one of the few big franchises they have left. And same day we have Cruella from Disney, which I believe is supposed to drop on Disney Plus day and date. And I think that one is not going to be a premium film. I could be wrong though. I did not put an asterisk on that because I'm not sure, but I think that's coming to Disney Plus as well.
Okay.
That stars Emma Stone as the title character, who originated in a 101 Dalmatians, and so that should be interesting. They tried the villain origin story once already with Maleficent, and that actually was pretty good. That was a pretty good one. So we'll see. And Emma Stone is just a delight in just about everything she's in. So it'll be fun to see her take a weird turn in this role. Moving on to June. Actually, I had a pretty light June here. June 4th, we've got the third film in the Conjuring franchise, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which is going to drop on HBO Max. I liked the first Conjuring a lot. Wasn't as keen on the second one. And then I saw the first spin-off film, Annabelle, and it was terrible.
Okay.
But I haven't seen any of the other films in the franchise, but if they're able to maintain the same momentum that the first two films had, this should be pretty good. Moving on to June 11th, we have Peter Rabbit 2. I'm going to say this again. They should just release this to streaming in April for the kids for Easter, because obviously that's obviously what it's supposed to be.
Far more sense.
Yeah, I'm surprised this one has been delayed as much as it has. I'm like, wow, they must really expect the audience for that one to be huge. I didn't see the
I think the first one was kind of a surprise success, and that's why they're probably trying to push this one a little bit harder than they should.
If it's the one, I think I watched like half of it on Netflix with my stepdaughter, and then she lost interest. But I actually thought it was a little bit better than I was expecting, but I never went back and watched the rest of it. But still, a sequel like about a rabbit, it would make way more sense to drop it Easter.
Yeah.
So after that, we have June 18th, we have In the Heights, which we already talked about. John M. Chu directing the musical, Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical. That's dropping on HBO Max. So, hey, guess what? A lot more people should be able to see that. And the same day, we have Luca from Disney and Pixar. This is the one that takes place on the Italian Riviera. It's about the, quote, unlikely but strong friendship between a human being and a sea monster disguised as a human. So it's Pixar.
Oh, it's Pixar.
Gonna be good.
Oh, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Pixar. Okay, I'm sold. I'm there, watching it.
So hopefully
that'll... Chris Nolan directed it. I'm there.
Get the Kleenex handy. It's Pixar.
Yeah.
Oh, especially if there's like a really good short, like Lava
right before it.
Inside Out just destroyed me. I had no emotion left for Inside Out. That volcano one really got to me. He's just looking for someone.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So hopefully we have drive-ins for that as well, or possibly a Disney Plus release if they have to go that route. All right. So we're into July now. We're in the thick of summer, and the first big summer release for July on July 2nd. Actually, we got two. The first one is Top Gun Maverick. And I have never actually seen Top Gun, so I am not like, I don't have a dog in this race. Jalen is shocked.
Wow. Wow. You should
I've seen Top Gun. I didn't love it.
It's great. Like Top Gun Maverick might be, it's definitely in my top 3 that I'm most looking forward to this year, but I'm hoping that IMAX theaters are reopened by the time this comes out, or still remain to be open, because I might risk it for Top Gun Maverick.
Well, on that same day, we also have Minions: The Rise of Gru, which no doubt will be a success for Universal and Illumination. And I think it's Illumination, the studio that does those films. Oh, yeah. I have not been a fan of the Despicable Me / Minions franchise. Like, I saw the first one, I liked the first one, but I was just immediately turned off by the franchise after the Minions basically became like the most obnoxious cultural meme in the history of all time. So kids, enjoy the hell out of that. I'll be staying away.
Enjoy it, kids. I'll be seeing Top Gun Maverick.
I'll be waiting a week to see. Well, we'll see again. We'll see. Please be open theaters by then.
Yes,
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the next big Marvel film of 2021. Ooh. The film that will finally introduce us to the real Mandarin. That's right, everybody.
I love for Iron Man 3.
Yeah. If you for the one person out there who hasn't seen it.
Who hasn't seen Iron Man 3. Yeah. It's not the real Mandarin in Iron Man 3, sorry.
I think it's a little bit like sad that they're finally introducing like Iron Man's like main villain from the comic books 2 years after Tony Stark is dead. Oops. Oh well.
Spoilers for Avengers Endgame.
For the one half of a person who didn't see Avengers Endgame.
Yes, there's 2 people out there who really haven't.
Yeah. And my condolences on July 9th to The Forever Purge, which will no doubt get trounced in the theaters by Shang-Chi. Even though the Purge films have been pretty successful and are pretty low budget, so it probably doesn't need to have a huge audience. I've also heard this is supposed to be the final film, which I'll believe it in 100 years from now if there's not a sequel.
Yep. The final chapter.
Yeah. Yep. The final pre-reboot chapter.
Yeah.
A week later, we get how many years in the making? It was 96 was the first one, but I think what we're finally getting, Space Jam: A New Legacy, with LeBron James and the Looney Tunes playing some basketball. Don't know what it's going to be about, but it's going to have some basketball.
And maybe Bill Murray too. No idea. We'll see.
Wait a minute. No one told me Dan Aykroyd was in this movie.
I forgot about that. That's a good joke.
I hope it's good, because I do have fond memories of the first one. It was a very fun film at the time.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's coming to HBO as well. So that should be an easy sell for me. Same day we have Cinderella, not from Disney. I can't remember what studio is doing it this time. But hey, someone else is doing Cinderella. Couldn't tell you how it ends. I don't know. No one knows. It's a mystery.
Shoes involved. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yep.
Maybe it will have a twist ending.
Yeah, where she eats the prince. He's like, whoa! Like, oh, so this is why it's rated R. Wow, I had no idea.
I think someone should start like a franchise of like Disney fairy tale stories with that suddenly like go off on a weird tangent.
Yeah.
How about she gets into the pumpkin carriage and then gets cooked in a pie.
Ooh, yeah. Roll them all into
There we go.
one. Yeah. Dig it.
So a week after Dark Cinderella, we're going to call it now, we have M. Night Shyamalan's next
so
film.
let down when it's just a regular happy ending.
Yeah.
Oh man, they got married again.
So July 23rd, we have M. Night Shyamalan's next film, Old, which also just had a Super Bowl trailer drop today, and I did catch that one, and it basically looks like a family goes to the beach and they just start inexplicably getting older. And of course, it's M. Night Shyamalan, and it's also creepy. So, yeah, here's fingers crossed. He's hit and miss, because Split was good, but then Glass was awful. I really thought that Split was going to be the movie that set him back on the right path, but I did not like Glass. And
He's either
really looking forward to that
Visitors,
one.
the one he did before Split. I think it was called The Visitors.
Oh yeah, that's the
That
one.
was
You reviewed
really
that
good.
one for me.
That one, that's right. That was the one review I wrote for your blog. That was surprisingly good, I thought. I know a lot of people have a lot of hate for Shyamalan, and he definitely has some duds, but I think like more of his movies than I've disliked.
Well, the ones that I like, I really do like Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs. I think are absolutely great films. I haven't seen a lot of those ones that he made in between Signs and The Last Airbender. Just don't see The Last Airbender. That's the movie that broke my back with him. It was awful.
I really enjoyed The Village.
I like The Village too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I've heard The Village is okay.
It gets a little ridiculous at the end, but I really enjoyed The Village.
That's a beautiful score.
Oh yeah. I think he has the same composer for everything, so I forget who it is, but at least I think he does. So Split was really good. I like Glass. I was just happy to see a sequel to Unbreakable, which I never thought I would get. So I'm a little bit of an apologist when it comes to Glass, but it could have been better.
All right.
Watched Glass. I did see Split though.
So moving on, I think it's the same. I just lost my plate. There we are. Same day, July 23rd, we're also getting The Tomorrow War. A man is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront his past. I just threw this one in here because it's a futuristic sci-fi film starring Chris Pratt, and those tend to do well, and people seem to like that guy. So, I'm sure that people are going to want to see this one. No trailers yet, so I really don't know what it's going to be like. But the next week, we have finally, again, this one's been delayed for the longest time, Jungle Cruise, which is Disney's next film based on a ride. And this one stars Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. And that pairing is enough to get me excited because they're just like Emily Blunt has been awesome. Great. And I'm excited to see her in. I haven't seen her in too many of her fun movies like Devil Wears Prada, that kind of stuff, in too many comedies. So I'm excited to see her go into fun mode. And Dwayne Johnson.
She was great in the Mary Poppins, the new
Mary
Poppins movie.
I saw Mary Poppins. She was good in that.
Yeah. I was like kind of got dragged to that, and it was surprisingly enjoyable.
And then of course Dwayne Johnson is always dependable in fun action films, particularly ones that are set in the jungle.
He's just like he just brings so much to everything that he is in. Like, he will win an Oscar someday. And I look forward to that day when he wins an Oscar for acting like that. That will happen. Calling it right here, right now. This is the proof. But yeah, I just rewatched Rampage. Speaking of good movies based on video games a couple weeks ago, it's a It's a whole lot of fun. Everything that he's in is a whole lot of fun, regardless of how.
I don't know if anybody follows him on Instagram, but his Instagram posts are delightful. Like the only thing that brings joy in social media. One of the only things.
Well, I will have to be. I'll have to be the one to disagree with you, Jalen. I didn't hate Rampage, but I don't like it. But that's only because I am, of course, a Godzilla fan, and anything that doesn't quite live up to the best standards. But again, Dwayne Johnson brings such charisma to that film.
Yeah,
he's just so fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
I was super shocked at how much I liked the new Jumanji, because I was definitely like, why the hell are they remaking Jumanji?
No kidding.
And it was so good.
They're both so good. So good.
Everyone get out there now and watch Jumanji, because they're both right. It's great. I haven't seen the second one yet, but I can definitely say that the first one is great.
Oh, it's so good. The second one is so good. Oh, funny story about that. I actually, when I saw that in the theater, that actually what I hadn't gone. My girlfriend and I had actually got tickets for Knives Out. We walked into the wrong theater without realizing it, and then the movie started, and they were like, "Oh, well, I guess we're watching Jumanji." So that was fun.
All right. So July 30th, we also have, this one's been delayed a long time too, is The Green Knight, which is, of course, a retelling of the medieval tale of the Green Knight with Dev Patel.
Ooh.
God, this one was this one was super duper hyped up early last year. And I think it may have been delayed before the pandemic, which, of course, any film that got delayed before the pandemic, I'm so sorry, you poor fools. So that should be a good one. And it's rated R, so we should be seeing some incredible medieval violence going on in that one.
I got more intrigued by that
movie.
Ooh. There's so few like R-rated fantasy movies.
No, there really isn't. Yeah. There used to be. I mean, there were a couple of years in the 80s we had they were all rated R, but Excalibur and Conan, but we don't really get a lot of them anymore.
Well, we got that's because in 2001 we got Harry Potter and the Fellowship of the Ring, and suddenly fantasy films became mainstream.
We want to get the whole family in.
Yeah.
And then they made The Hobbit and all Fantastic Beasts and all the horrible spin-offs.
Boy, if I need a nap, turn on one of those Hobbit films, and I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Well, it's not just The Hobbit. They immediately had to go out and find every Harry Potter-like story to tell, like Percy Jackson, Aragon, like all these young adult stories. That's suddenly became what fantasy was.
The horrible Golden Compass movie that they made.
Yeah.
Which, since you have HBO Max, watch His Dark Materials.
I need to watch that.
It is amazing.
Nice. I love that. I
haven't seen the second season, but we watched the first season and it was really well done.
Nice.
All right, so we're moving into August. This first film we have for August, I'm really excited for, despite the fact that I did not like the first film, and that is The Suicide Squad. Why am I excited? James Gunn and that ridiculously amazing ensemble that he has assembled. And just from what little footage of it that we've gotten in like little, HBO Max reels, it looks like it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. So I am all in on this one. And of course, because it's at Warner Brothers, it's an HBO release. So yes, we're all going to get to see this one. Also on August 6th, we have Hotel Transylvania 4. I haven't seen the first three. I know they're successful. Again, I'm sure the kids will love it. For me, I like to take my monster films a little more seriously. But hey, get excited, kids. Another Hotel Transylvania is coming out for you.
Adam Sandler getting paid.
Yeah.
And his friends getting paid.
Yeah. A week later, we have Respect on August 13th, which is a biopic of Aretha Franklin, starring Jennifer Hudson, So that's going to be a pretty high profile release and one to look forward to. Also starring Forrest Whitaker. And again, like that's a nice duo just right there. That is enough to get me excited for that. Also on August 13th, we have the untitled Don't Breathe sequel. I heard the first one was pretty good, and it's obviously I think it might be a Blumhouse film, so it's super low budget. So, they never have to make that much money to be successful. So,
is that the old blind dude that they try to rob movie?
Yep.
And the sequel to that? Oh, okay. I was trying to remember what it was, but I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good. But...
Yeah, I've heard it's a good one. So may have to catch it at some point. On August 20th, again, this one I think has been delayed several times as well, but finally getting The King's Man, the prequel to Kingsman: The Secret Service. So looking forward to that. This should be fun. This one, I think it stars Ralph Fiennes, and it's going to revolve around the legendary Rasputin as the villain, which will be fun.
Oh, that sounds cool.
I'm excited. It's a fun franchise. It's a fun, gloriously R-rated franchise.
Very much. And same day, for those of you who don't want to take your little kids to a glorious R-rated romp, you can go see Paw Patrol, the movie. Isn't that nice?
Oh, good for the kids.
And for those of you who may not be interested in The King's Man and don't have kids to take to see Paw Patrol, you can go see The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which reunites Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds. So I didn't see the first one, but that's a combo that should do well. Fast forward to August 27th, we get the spiritual sort of sequel, Candyman, which is directed by Nia DaCosta, who has just was tapped to do Captain Marvel 2. So if Marvel sort of has their finger on the pulse with her, that means Candyman should be a horror movie that we're looking forward to.
And I think I also saw it's one of the writers is Jordan Peele, right?
Yes, I think he produced it as well. So it's got that Jordan Peele seal of quality.
Yep. And same day, August 27th, Peter Jackson's documentary, The Beatles Get Back, which should be good. If there's one thing Peter Jackson has not screwed up recently, it is documentaries. And if there's one genre we can allow him to make, 3 or 4 hour films on, it's documentaries.
Yep.
So
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, this should be good. Beatles happen to be my favorite band, so it should be very interesting to see how that goes.
Have you seen the extended? There's a trailer of sorts on Disney Plus that's just phenomenal.
I have not seen that trailer yet, and I have no excuses. So maybe when we're done tonight, I'll do that.
Excellent.
Moving into September 3rd, for some God-beknownst reason, we're getting a brand new Jackass movie.
Wow.
It's an audience for everything.
Yep.
Goodness. Surprised they're not in wheelchairs yet. This is amazing. Maybe they just don't have any feeling down there anymore.
Oh, and I'm actually checking out IMDb right now as we're doing this, and that's apparently supposed to be the same day that Resident Evil reboot is released. So, Hey, I've got something to keep me busy rather than see Jackass.
Just don't accidentally walk into the wrong theater.
No.
Watch it, Jackass. No.
All right, then September 10th we have Malignant, which is another horror film, but it's from James Wan, who directed the first Conjuring, and I think he directed Sinister. No, wait, that was Scott Derrickson. But the point is, it's a James Wan horror film, and he basically brought the Conjuring franchise to life. So this is definitely something to look forward to. And again, this is going to be an HBO Max release, so that should be good. Looking forward. It currently does not. IMDb currently does not have a plot synopsis for it yet, so this one might get delayed. They may still be working on this one. We'll see. September 17th. We have Death on the Nile, which is the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express. So Kenneth Branagh is back as Poirot and back in the director's chair. This is another one that got delayed from the pandemic. It's supposed to come out last Christmas, I believe. I enjoyed his take on Orient Express, so we'll see how this one goes.
I did too. I thought it was pretty enjoyable.
Nice. I haven't seen it yet, but I've wanted to. I love the original, but I haven't seen this one yet.
However,
the one from the 70s.
Yeah, I am more excited on September 17th to see A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah.
Because that first one is so good.
So good. So good.
And I believe Krasinski's back in the director's chair, so we should be in good hands. Everyone's coming back, and we're adding Cillian Murphy to the cast. I mean, come on.
Solid choice to any movie. Putting your movie is now suddenly better now that you have Cillian Murphy.
Yep.
Ooh, wonder what accent he would use. Because he can do a lot.
Okay. Then on same day, we're getting three big movies in the same day from DreamWorks Animation. Another one you can take the kids to, The Boss Baby, Family Business. And I'm definitely going to plug that one because I actually have one of my friends from Western is in it.
Oh, nice!
Which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Who's in it?
His name is James McGrath. He graduated after me, so
cool.
So well after your time.
Yeah, he was a lot from my time.
And on September 24th, we have the musical adaptation of, or rather the big screen adaptation of the musical Dear Evan Hansen. So if Wicked makes it out this year, that means we theoretically get two like very well-known musicals in the same year, which would be crazy. What are we in the 50s?
Yeah, no kidding. 45-year-old.
There's a few other musicals on this list.
Of course there are. They're probably the ones I skipped over.
There's a huge one in December.
Yeah,
there's a huge one coming in December. Huge,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Huge one coming in December.
Yep.
Which I am kind of excited for, I guess, but we will get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Also on September 24th, coming to HBO Max as well, we have The Many Saints of Newark, which is the Sopranos prequel film. Now that I have HBO Max, I should probably watch The Sopranos because I've never seen that.
Oh, it's so good.
I watched all of it except the very last season. So I didn't see but I heard what happened in the finale. I'm kind of excited, strangely excited, because I didn't know about that until I saw it on your list. And I'm actually kind of looking at the cast, strangely excited for the sequel. I mean,
James Gandolfini's son is actually playing the younger version of him, which I think is just awesome.
That's really cool.
Rest in peace, James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the end of September. Moving to October 1st, finally, Dune.
Oh.
And Dune is also going to be coming to HBO Max. So
that's the one
we're
I want to be able to trek to the theater definitely for.
Yep. I better see this in an IMAX for sure.
It's Denis Villeneuve, and he is, I think that he has a perfect track record so far. I have not been disappointed by any of his films.
The trailer,
at least the ones that I've seen. Gosh, what did he do? What was the last film he did before this? Was it
Blade Runner?
Oh, it was. Yep, it was Blade Runner. Yep,
which
Blade
was
Runner's so good,
friggin' phenomenal. Holy God! And I mean, this movie could be called reading the phone book and with this cast, I would still be excited to see it in the theater because this cast is incredible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, everybody. Everybody
Jason
is
Momoa
awesome.
and Dave Bautista in the same place.
Yep. Oh.
I think Josh Brolin's in it too, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Josh Brolin, Zendaya,
Everybody.
Javier Bardem. Yeah, it's just top to bottom stacked.
And I just finally read that book I tried to read that book twice. It's really hard to get through the first 200 pages. But then after that, it's amazing. I finally read the whole book last year.
I'm waiting to read it until after I see this. I've actually never seen any version of Dune, so I'm not the David Lynch one or the miniseries. So I'm really excited for this, and then I will read the book. So
I read the book years ago, but I haven't seen any of the adaptations, so I'm very excited for this one.
The first 200 pages of the book are very slow and hard to follow, but then it gets really awesome.
It's
kind of like the
it.
Dursley sections of Harry Potter.
Yeah, or I don't know if you ever read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but that book also had a really slow beginning, and then it was really awesome after that.
All right. now that we're done gushing about how amazing Dune is going to be, because we all know it. We all know it in our hearts. Also on October 1st, the Untitled Addams Family sequel is coming out. And this is a sequel to the animated film that came out in 2019, which did surprisingly well in theaters, and I think was pretty well reviewed. So
I liked it.
I
thought it was great.
Oh, you saw it? Good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this should be okay. Then this should be a good one. Then.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Highly enjoyed it. It's got a great. Charlize Theron is Morticia. Oscar Isaac is Gomez. It's got a great voice cast. It's a solid. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
And for the record, Oscar Isaac should just be live action Gomez as well.
I'd rather have Pedro Pascal, but if it was Oscar Isaac, I would not be opposed to that.
Also an excellent choice.
Yeah. Or maybe one of them could play Fester. Whoever doesn't play Gomez could also play Fester.
All right, moving forward 1 week. Huge one for me. No Time to Die. Been waiting on this one for a long time. I think Sarah's been a pretty big fan of Daniel Craig as Bond. That's a pretty good chat. So
actually, I haven't watched the most recent. What was the Spectre?
Yeah.
Spectre, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, but I did see the first three he was in, and I loved. Oh man, my blanking. I loved Skyfall, and I loved the first one he was in.
Casino Royale.
Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, can't wait for this.
Yep, he has yet to be. The quality of Quantum and Spectre, may not be the same as Skyfall and Casino Royale, but really Daniel Craig has yet to be in a bad Bond movie, a really bad
Bond movie. He's been good in all of them. I would just say Quantum of Solace had a less interesting story. But...
Well, this is all for a completely different episode, but it's a writer strike film, so that's definitely a huge factor.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have to plan out all your James Bond episodes.
I know. Plan everything out around
as
that.
Long as it doesn't get pushed back again.
Yep. We keep talking about this all like it's set in stone, and we're gonna get disappointed at some point by something. All right. October 15th, we have Halloween Kills, the sequel to the sort of Halloween reboot. Did either of you see that Halloween film?
I have not yet. No.
I enjoyed it. It does the sort of soft reboot thing where it ignores all of the horrendous sequels, but, of course, still holds the original film as canon. Bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis was definitely the right move. And it definitely, it sort of used the story to examine her post-traumatic stress, which is that's the way they probably should have been going for the longest time. So it was a good one, and I hope this one is able to keep that momentum going. John Carpenter apparently has only had good things to say about it, and that's a good sign.
Awesome.
Let's see. Same day we have The Last Duel. I put this one on here for us Shakespeare buffs and history buffs. This one's about King Charles VI. And it's directed by Ridley Scott with Matt Damon, Adam Driver, and Ben Affleck.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know about Ben Affleck in period pieces, but we'll see.
Matt Damon in a period piece?
Yeah.
But Adam Driver
will be good.
Adam Driver. He's going to be amazing.
We'll see if this release date holds. It's apparently in post-production. And Ridley Scott actually has another film coming out this year. So it's like, oh my gosh, are we going to get two?
Oh,
I don't think it's going to happen. So October 22nd, we have Last Night in Soho, which is Edgar Wright's next film. And I am very excited for that because he is also one of those directors who has yet to let me down.
Yep.
And this one is supposed to be
sounds
like kind of a horror film. So
nice.
Yeah, a genre he hasn't and it sounds like it might be more of a serious horror film. So it might be the first time he's actually tackled serious horror as opposed to his Shaun of the Dead brilliant comedy horror. And that same day we have, and I'm only throwing this on here because it's spinning out of a big franchise, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. Oof. I'm not going to see it. The first G.I. Joe film was ridiculous, and they never really needed to continue it. But you know what? For those of you who like big, dumb action films, have fun.
I didn't even like G.I. Joe in the 80s.
Well,
all right. So moving into November 5th, we have our third scheduled Marvel film for the year, which is Eternals, directed by Chloe Zhao and featuring like a massive
the reunion of the Stark brothers.
Yeah, Stark Bros reunite.
Yep, Richard Madden and Kit Harington, along with Angelina Jolie.
You get hot and hotter in the same movie.
Yeah.
So pick your preference. Your preference is either one or the other.
I definitely Rob Stark, Jon Snow.
Oh, see, I would have figured you more for a Jon Snow. Okay.
No, I definitely, I still hurt from when I read the book and Rob Stark got killed with the Red Wedding.
Thank you so much for keeping a lid on that. Thank you to everyone who read Game of Thrones before that episode came out for keeping that to yourself. I can't imagine how hard it was, but thank you from the bottom of my heart.
That episode was like stressful to watch when you've read the book.
I'm surprised that now I realize internet spoilers are getting worse and worse, but I am surprised at how well studios themselves are able to keep some of these big secrets as close to the chest as they can, because I don't think this one's a big spoiler anymore. It's been a few years, but like when I went to see The Force Awakens opening night, like I had no idea that Han Solo was going to die at the end. Like
I didn't know that.
That was a
great surprise. It might happen. I was kind of expecting it could happen, but I didn't like.
It hurts so much. Oh man.
But yeah, like
my mom got mad at me for making her watch it when that happened.
Of course, sometimes they do struggle to get it right. Because I also remember that it was pretty. This is kind of a spoiler, Sarah, but like not really if you don't know the history of Bond. Like after the first like trailer or two for Spectre, it's like I knew who the villain was. Like,
oh yeah, they don't even. It's yeah,
and they were spent like Christoph Waltz spent the entire summer being like, oh no, that's not it at all, and we were all like, yeah, it is.
It's the same thing with Benedict Cumberbatch and Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely not playing that. Oh yeah, I am. The only time that's worked is Batman Begins. And again, genius of Chris Nolan. Like, you spend the entire time thinking, oh yeah, Liam Neeson's totally going to be Ra's al Ghul. Wait, no, he isn't. Oh wait, yeah, he is. I'll be darned. Yeah. Spoilers for Batman Begins, but
one same with
we've
the Dark
already
Knight.
spoiled all Nolan's movies in the Nolan episode, except for like Tenet, which we hadn't seen yet. So
Well, they couldn't do that with the Dark Knight Rises though, because I remember they spent like all the months leading up to that being like, no, it's not Talia, and it's like it's Talia.
Oh yeah, no, it's clearly Italian. Oh, so Italian. Like not even like really.
Yeah, they did a really bad job covering that one up. Anyway, and now that we've gone off on a major tangent, what else we got for November 5th? We have Untitled Elvis Presley Project, and I think I put this one on there because it's Baz Luhrmann, so it'll definitely be lavish and a very pretty film. But I don't know anything else about it. Also, for November 5th, I put this on there because we talked about it in an earlier episode. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Anyone who's seen the early pics from the film, like, yep, it's a big red dog. It's gonna be interesting.
Maybe that will be the first movie I take, or well, I probably won't be taking her to, but maybe that'll be the first movie Adira gets to watch because she's obsessed with Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Is it live action or animated?
Live action.
The dog is. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This could be interesting. Maybe this is a dark R-rated Clifford where he like kills millions of people because he's just walking. He's just walking, stepping on buildings. Dwayne Johnson's got to stop him.
It's from the makers of Cinderella.
Yep.
Oh man, yes, from the makers of Cinderella. In a war.
Okay. Moving on to November 12th, another film that's been delayed several times, Ghostbusters Afterlife. The third film, the long-awaited sequel to Ghostbusters 2 that reunites the surviving members of the Ghostbusters team and Paul Rudd.
Hey,
why not?
And that should be enough to get fans back into theaters to see the Ghostbusters. I really don't know anything else about it, but you know, Bill Murray and Paul Rudd in the same movie should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Ghostbusters is my all-time favorite, so I'm stoked for this. And Bill Murray coming back, yeah.
Well, Jalen, if these release dates hold up, you're going to have a really good 2 weeks in November because on November 19th, we get Mission Impossible 7.
Woohoo!
Which pretty much brings back every surviving person from like the last handful of films, as well as Haley Atwell is joining the cast.
All right.
And we all love Haley Atwell. So Angela Bassett's coming back, Vanessa Kirby's coming back, Rebecca Ferguson. I'm really glad Rebecca Ferguson is coming back. And of course, Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
So
and Ving Rhames and yeah. It's a fun franchise. Third movie really turned it around.
It did. The third film turned it around, and the fourth one was, I think, the first one to really set the tone for where it is now.
Yeah.
I would say if you don't want to, if you're new and just want to get into it, start with 3 or 4. That's a pretty good starting point.
Yeah.
I like the first 2, but yeah, 3 and 4 is really where the series really found its stride.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised because the third one was the first one I watched and liked. I didn't really like the first one, and the second one is bad. But thank God that shoot ran long, or else Hugh Jackman would not have been Wolverine.
Yep. All right, and up same day as Mission Impossible. This is another HBO release same day. Surprisingly, not what you probably think it is. King Richard.
I know. I saw that name and I was like, and then I looked up what it was, and I was not that excited.
Nope, this is not about any one of the King Richards of history. This is actually about tennis stars Venus and Serena Williams, becoming the major stars after coaching from their father, Richard. So it should probably still be a good movie, but don't get your hopes up if you're a Shakespeare fan.
King Richard, that's a horrible name for a Serena and Venus Williams biopic.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, unless
you
the
have these
focus really is on Richard.
Tennis stars. Let's name it after their dad.
We'll see. I don't know. November 26th, we have the next Disney animated film, Encanto. This one, the film is centered on a young girl and her family in Colombia who all have magical powers, but the young girl does not have magical powers. So that should be, again, it's Disney animated. I anticipate it's going to be good, probably a good coming of age movie. But it's far out, so we really don't know too much about it. Here's the next Ridley Scott film. Ridley Scott is doing the Gucci biopic.
Oh,
so
you got to see how them clothes get made or them purses. Yep. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I looked it up. I looked up that, and it said something about it's like it has to do with like a murder or something. Like,
oh yeah, I guess there was that too.
Someone's husband or something like that.
Got a good cast.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Jared Leto, Al Pacino, Adam Driver again.
Adam Driver. He's going to win 2 Oscars. Dwayne Johnson's going to win 1. Adam Driver's going to win 2 Oscars.
All right. And that pretty much wraps up November. We're in the final month of the year. And interestingly enough, on December 3rd, we are getting Nightmare Alley from Guillermo del Toro.
Woo!
That is exciting. Guillermo del Toro.
That's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. They had me at Guillermo. So another director who, in my opinion, can do no wrong. So
I've often said that's the special cut I want to see is Guillermo del Toro's Hobbit movie.
Oh, I'm glad that he left The Hobbit because
no, it's cool he left. I would rather see like his version of that movie.
I'd love to see his version, but he left The Hobbit and gave us Pacific Rim. So I absolutely think that he made the right choice.
We're canceling the apocalypse.
Yep.
If we can have a Zack Snyder's Justice League, I feel like we can have.
How about a cut of The Hobbit that's only stuff from the book?
Yeah, I would.
Anything that isn't in the book,
directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Just cut it out.
There probably is a very good fan cut somewhere on the internet of The Hobbit.
I think there is a fan cut that just is like the book.
And if there isn't, somebody who's listening to this with a lot more time on your hands, make it happen.
All right, so here we are, December 10th. Some crazy people here mentioned that there's going to be a really big musical dropping that day. Well, guess what?
Something's coming.
They're right, because we're getting a new adaptation of West Side Story, directed by Steven Spielberg. So, fingers crossed. I love Spielberg, but he's a director who is hit and miss. And
he's not like hit and swing and miss like M. Night Shyamalan is. Like when he's swinging,
he swings for the fences, and it sometimes just can't get there. I just don't know if he's the one to be directing this particular film.
This is the first time he's done a musical, so
it does seem like an odd pairing, but who knows? I mean, I like that musical, but we'll see. That's definitely one I feel skeptical. We'll see.
Yeah.
It will be cool to see Rita Moreno in it, though.
Oh yeah, she's playing Doc in this one, which I like. Yeah.
So that should be good, at least. Same day, December 10th. Again, I only put this one in here because we're a bunch of theater geeks right here. A new adaptation of Cyrano.
And this is also a musical adaptation of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is a movie version of a musical adaptation of Cyrano.
Oh.
So another musical.
Doesn't it have Peter Dinklage too?
Yes.
Oof.
Yep.
Sorry, West Side Story. I know what I'm seeing on the 10th. It ain't you.
You know what though? I will say, I've got the IMDb list on my phone right here, and Cyrano's not on there anymore. So
Oh,
maybe they
We
had to
may
push
not
it
have
back.
to
I don't
be
know,
between them.
you've
but
won
we'll
this
see.
round, West Side
It
Story.
was it was definitely on the list when I made this. So all right, December 17th, we have a movie we've already talked about a little bit, Untitled Spider-Man sequel, starring Tom Holland, Benedict Cumberbatch, and probably a lot of people that are going to absolutely shock the hell out of us. Like possibly Jamie Foxx, possibly Alfred Molina, possibly Toby and Andrew, possibly Charlie Cox, which would really be cool.
I would be super down with
Nice.
that.
Possibly Willem Dafoe.
Yep.
Probably not James Franco, but possibly everybody else.
He's, like we said earlier, Tom Holland has said this is the biggest like solo superhero movie that he's ever seen. So, and I've said it before, like this Sony Marvel deal isn't going to last much longer. So Marvel probably wants to pull all their punches on this and just like not pull their punches and just make it as absolutely big as they can while they have him. So, yeah, I think that this is going to be, if theaters are open in any sort of capacity above 50, this is going to be that film we were talking about earlier that gets butts in seats.
Yes.
Because if it's on that sort of same kind of epic scale as an Avengers movie, then yeah, and brings back a lot of characters, then yeah, this is it. This is the one.
Or even Captain America Civil War, like something on that scale too, because that's Avengers 2.5 is what I always call that. But
it really is.
That kind of should have been Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron, it's fine, but it's not. I mean, it's lower. And we love the MCU, Kevin Feige. We praise your name, but that one is not as good as the other ones. It's a little down on my list.
I definitely did some paperwork or something.
Well, we've discussed this before on the show too. That was also sort of the tail end of the Ike Perlmutter era, when he was still kind of running the show before Disney officially put Feige in charge of everything with the movies.
Oh,
and which is why after, huh? Was that Sarah?
Oh, I just said clearly a good move.
Yeah. Because that was around the time when Ike Perlmutter was like, oh, we don't need to be making Black Widow action figures, no one's going to buy them. Oh, we don't need to make Captain Marvel and Black Panther, no one wants to see that. It's like, oh no, you're a terrible human being. Please get out.
Yeah,
really wrong about that one. Ooh.
Yeah,
not a great plan.
So yeah, Phase 3. Kevin Feige finally got to take over, and that honestly, Phase 3 is like the consistently best.
Yeah,
that they've had.
Real jump in quality. They made a good Thor movie. Whoever thought that was possible?
But. All right, another tangent conquered. December 22nd, we have. Oh, this is slightly different on the IMDb list than what I have it right now. They're listing it as the 22nd. It's I don't know. This could be either the 22nd or the 24th. Who knows? Christmas releases are weird that way. But we've got 4 films that are scheduled to release at about Christmas time. The first being The Matrix 4, which, fingers crossed, please save this franchise. I don't know how you two feel, but I did not like 2 and 3. I think 1 is amazing. 2 and 3 were really, really. I think
I saw 2 before I saw 1, which was probably not, because I saw 2 and I was like, what the hell is this? This is so dumb. And then later I went back and saw 1 and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, one is so very well grounded in its storytelling, and 2 and 3 were just like, all right, this is going to be us off the leash, and it didn't work.
Kind of felt like the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Like the first one was really fun. The second one was
Yeah.
kind of veering into weird, and then the third one was just like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, it was like, oh, really? Like, all right, now she's a big giant. Okay, this is wow. Yeah, it's just, whew.
waste of Naomi.
I imagine they probably looked at the model of the Lord of the Rings trilogy filming back to back to back, thinking, "Oh, we can do this with our franchises as well." Except the only difference, of course, being the Lord of the Rings had an incredible piece of source material to go off of, and Pirates and the Matrix had, okay, let's make two sequels back to back, two unplanned sequels at that.
Yeah. Not everything needs to be a franchise.
Yeah. But, like fingers crossed, maybe
Something
the Matrix 4
cannot
will
survive without source material.
Yeah.
Maybe the Matrix 4 will be the film to set the series back on track. We'll see. All right. We also have currently scheduled, but I somehow doubt it's going to get released this year, Sherlock Holmes 3. And this is, of course, the Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law franchise. It's currently in pre-production, and that's why I don't think it's going to make this year. I'm not necessarily looking forward to this one because the second film was a bit of a dip in quality. And also, just since that first film came out, we have had the BBC Sherlock Holmes series with Benedict Cumberbatch. And I think that most people have grown more attached to that interpretation this last decade. I know I have.
It's been so long since the second one. I kind of can't even. I know I liked the first one. I kind of can't remember the second one.
I'm shocked there aren't like 5 of these already. Like, why is this third one taking so long? Like some of these sequels, I'm just like, why are these taking so long? Like, why, like why was there 19 years between Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and why is there 10 years between sequels for this one? Like, these kind of write themselves, don't they? In a way.
I think I would say that in the case of Sherlock Holmes, it has everything to do with Robert Downey Jr. finally being available to film big films that are not Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably it. In his entire tenure at Marvel, I can't even think of too many other movies that he made outside of those films. He was just busy every year.
Well, he was in every one for a while.
Yeah, he was putting in more work than just about everyone. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, he's still fun in Sherlock Holmes. So
I'll still watch it.
Hopefully it's good. I'll watch it. Hopefully it's good.
Jude Law's phenomenal in those movies too, and they have they are absolutely dynamite together.
And according to the IMDb cast list for this one, Jared Harris is going to return to play Moriarty, and Jared Harris is also incredibly dependable character actor. I love him in anything he's in. So we'll see. This could be a good one. Be interesting with Matrix and Sherlock Holmes. We'll see. Also, December 24th or 22nd or whatever, we're getting Sing 2. I never saw the first one. It was
cute.
Yeah.
It was cute.
I don't see any animated films that aren't Disney or Pixar. I have a problem. And then the Wicked. That's when Wicked's supposed to come out. Again, we'll see. Since they just got John M. Chu to attach himself to that, that's another one I have a feeling is going to get delayed into next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But
that is a lot of December, November-y release. I mean, I would say the ones that have already been delayed to this year might have a better chance of coming out. I feel like the ones that are originally set, there's probably a good chance they're going to move.
Yeah, I'm sure we're still going to get West Side Story, The Matrix 4, and I don't think Spider-Man 3 is finished filming, but I think they're far enough along that they're probably going to get that release. But the rest of them, Wicked, Sherlock Holmes, Cyrano, even Nightmare Alley, there's a pretty good chance those will get delayed into next year. And some of those November movies too that are just getting into production. So yeah, that's it. So my question, and we kind of got a little bit into this as we read off the list. What are we most excited for the year?
It's interesting because the thing that I'm most excited for this year is not on the list. I didn't notice it until now because I thought it was there, but it actually isn't on the list. And that would be Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch.
You know what? I didn't see that in IMDb's list either. That's a good point. That's a good one. That's one I'm looking forward to too.
Oh no, please still exist. Oh,
It has to still exist because like they had a trailer ready. They've got a trailer out online already, so they've got to be close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably it could just be that Disney is trying to find a release date for it at this point, but it's probably ready to go.
Yeah. I think it was ready to go before because it was supposed to premiere at Cannes, I think, last year before everything happened.
So I bet that one. Yeah. Wes Anderson is always a good director to look forward to. So yep, I'm in agreement there. That's a good one.
It's so good. Oh man.
I am definitely. I know it's probably not going to be very good, but I'm definitely probably most excited for Godzilla versus Kong, and I'll get into that when we get to those episodes because I have a lot to say.
I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. Like that's probably my favorite of the monster of the WB Legendary Monsterverse so far. Mainly because it was outdoors in daylight and not in the rain, and you could see it's a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, Kong is a fun movie, and I really appreciate that they took Kong in a completely different direction from the original film and from Peter Jackson's film, and made it not necessarily villainous, made him heroic. So yeah, and of course, I'm also looking forward to all the Marvel stuff. I think we've all been looking forward to that because we just went through our first year without Marvel in a long time, and it's crazy to think that one big franchise can have that big of an impact. And we're finally getting back into it with WandaVision and with some of these.
Thank God we had the Mandalorian last year.
Yeah, I tell you what, if it wasn't for the Mandalorian and that, oh my goodness. Watching WandaVision, seeing that Marvel logo for the first time in over a year, like I almost teared up a little bit because I was like, oh man, I love it. It's like 5 minutes long, but I don't care. It's so good. But
I'm also, of course.
Oh, sorry, good.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, I just say I'm sure no one's surprised. I am definitely super excited for Dune. Also super excited for Dune, yeah. Also super excited for the Marvel movies. Other than I'm gonna be sad if I have to like watch Black Widow on Disney Plus and not in the theater. But I've been waiting a long time for that movie. But
been waiting like
and I feel like it's her send off, but I don't know. I'm gonna be sad if I have to watch it on streaming. I'm gonna watch it. I'll pay the premium price for that, but I will be sad.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for Bond. For sure. They actually are bringing a for the first time a Bond actor. He actually gets a character arc, which is great. And he's been, like we said, he's one of the best actors for the role. So
yeah,
it'll be good to see, and it'll be good to see how they're going to continue the franchise afterwards, if they're going to address that in this film, because they've already sort of talked about how Lashana Lynch, who was Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, she's in No Time to Die, and she is the new 00 agent. And Bond's supposed to be on retirement.
007.
So yeah, I don't know if she's supposed to be the new 007, but she's a 00 agent. But I would love to see her. I'd love to see her pick up the torch and be the next 007. I think that would be cool, and actually keep the franchise going within that continuity instead of just recasting Bond like they have done for the past 60 years.
Oh yeah, I hope they keep Ray Fiennes, Ben Wiz. I don't know how you pronounce it. Wizzleshaw.
I think so. Wishaw.
Wishaw and Naomi Harris, and
Yep.
I hope they keep all of them. And yeah, I've loved what they've set up with this, and I'm excited for Top Gun. I don't know why they're making this, but I'm excited for a Top Gun sequel. I love the original. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's so much fun. I mean, it's a little dated. It's an 80s film, and you can definitely tell it's an 80s film. It's got some sweet Kenny Loggins. Maybe Kenny Loggins will do a new tune for this. Maybe a Danger Zone redo of some sort. But yeah, I'm excited. Val Kilmer is coming back as Iceman, so I'm excited to see what he still has in the tank, if he has anything still in the tank, because he went through a pretty bad bout of cancer recently, and that might have shredded his voice completely. I hope that's not the case. He showed up as a Blunt Man or either Blunt. He showed up in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot briefly as the whoever Silent Bob superhero alter ego is. I forget which one it is. It was fun.
Well, if there is sort of a new like Danger Zone or a new song to come out of it, then hopefully it'll make its way into Archer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That Danger Zone country version they did was awesome. And that's another show that brought itself back around this year. Archer became good. Yeah. Little TV tangent there.
Anyone else have anything they're particularly looking forward to this year?
I have a few that I didn't know about until you sent me this list. I mean, I'm excited about a new Del Toro movie. Even though it may not come this year, but felt pretty excited about that one. I'm excited about the Jungle Cruise movie. I kind of forgot about that. I think that sounds really fun. And I love that ride at Disneyland. So. And I really missed Disneyland because we were supposed to go in November and had to cancel.
Oh,
who knows? We'll get to reschedule. So.
Oh man,
my vicarious Disneyland.
Incredicoaster's so good. Smuggler's Run's so good. It's like you're flying the Falcon. It's so good.
Yeah, that was a very sad part of last year. Yeah, I think there was another one. I'm excited about the I'm kind of I should say maybe not excited is the right word. I'm very intrigued by the Candyman reboot, reimagining, whatever it is. Especially knowing Jordan Peele's involved. I'm intrigued. Because I remember the original movie.
And I think the same actor, Tony Todd, I think he's coming back to play.
Yeah. I thought it said him and was it like Virginia Madsen too or somebody? I think both. It said him and somebody else from the original. Both have roles in it.
And the lead actor is popping up in a lot of things too that I really enjoy. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He was in Trial of the Chicago 7, which was awesome, and the Watchmen television series on HBO, which was phenomenal. I can't really say who he's playing on that show, but it's awesome.
And it also has Teyonah Parris, who's playing Monica Rambeau in WandaVision.
Candyman does?
Yeah.
Sweet. She's great on WandaVision, which is something we will get to in a couple weeks. In a few weeks. But yeah.
Which shouldn't be a huge surprise that she's also going to appear in Captain Marvel now with Nia DaCosta directing that. So yeah. So given the predictions that we've sort of had of a later year big opening, I should say, for theaters, this is going to be rough. I hate talking about this, but it's pretty much the film news cycle right now. Do you think we're going to start seeing more delays, more films that are going to go streaming day and date, or are we going to be seeing a lot more films that end up getting moved to streaming services like Netflix and stream exclusively?
I think I feel like we're probably gonna, I feel like we'll probably still see a few delays. I feel like as we get into this second year, however, long stuff still has to be kind of partially shut down. I foresee that we're gonna see more like opening in theater, streaming on the same day, because there's going to be areas where theaters can more easily be open. Maybe numbers are way down, like, um, and probably as we get into the summer, numbers will go down or top out because people are outside more. Especially if you have the option of more like drive-through theaters opening. My hope is that maybe they would be willing to send some more of the like newer releases to drive-through theaters, so people can experience them that way. But I really feel like we're probably not going to see as many delays as we did last year, because unless it's like, I don't mean, like I was saying, unless it's like a director with a lot of clout that really must have their movie only open in theater, somebody like Christopher Nolan or something. I don't think the studios are probably going to want to keep sitting on the movies, like, because they basically kind of said that this is, we're going to be in a little bit, even with the vaccines, we're going to be in a little bit of a cycle of like, it'll probably get better in some places and then it'll like flare up again, and then it'll, so it's probably, I think we're going to see like fewer delays for COVID. Now you may see like delays because movies aren't getting finished as fast because of COVID, but I feel like a lot of these movies that were delayed from last year are gonna like, I just don't think they're gonna keep delaying them indefinitely.
Yeah, I think HBO with what Warner Brothers has going on with HBO Max, I'm actually surprised more studios aren't doing that. I know there was a lot of pushback because of it, because they're like, no, it needs to go in the theaters. And the only problem with that is that, well, the theaters aren't open. If it wasn't for, theaters just recently reopened where we live. Otherwise, if Wonder Woman 1984 had only come out in the theaters, I would not have been able to see it. But I think we might be entering I don't know if the summer films will stick, but I think if those get delayed, I think we're in the area of hopefully the final big delays, so that maybe this fall will, and maybe that's one way they can get us back into the theater is by putting out, have one weekend where it's Ghostbusters, Top Gun, and Fast and the Furious just all come out in the same weekend. Boom, there you go. And I'm seeing 2 of those 3 movies, but that's still, I'm going to the theater twice in one weekend, so I don't really very rarely do I do that. But no. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do day and date streaming, only because Warner Brothers really kind of lucked out with HBO Max, and that they're owned by the same company, so they can do that. And HBO Max, like you said, Jalen, it's not the worst streaming service out there, but other studios like either don't necessarily have their own streaming service that they can align with, or the streaming service that they do kind of align with isn't that great. Like, for instance, I just don't see Universal saying, hey, we need to put Fast 9 on Peacock. And that's how we need to get that to audiences, because the only reason I have Peacock is because we happen to have Xfinity, so we got it for free. And the only thing I've watched on it was the 30 Rock special, because that's the only new thing they put on there that I cared about. So yeah, Peacock's just been sort of languishing, and HBO has been languishing, but HBO has stuff. I know they have stuff coming, and they actually have a pretty cool backlog of things that I can watch. Peacock has, it's got all the TV shows that I bought up Blu-rays for because I, knew they were leaving Netflix. Just didn't think I'd get Peacock. But yeah, like, but I also, you're right. I don't see delays going much longer for films that are already in the can. They've got to start getting these films out one way or the other. And that could mean if we once again start to see COVID numbers going up and theaters having to close down again, that could mean we're going to be seeing deals with Netflix or possibly with Amazon Prime. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's getting to be too late for a lot of these films.
Yeah,
we can't see too many more delays for the big ones, especially. I know A24, which is a smaller studio, actually is doing their own online virtual screening room for a movie they have coming out. So I think that's actually a pretty smart way to go if you're a smaller studio. And it's not a streaming service. You can just open up your internet browser and go to their website and watch their film, and pay the price of a movie ticket to see their new film. And again, it's A24. It's going to be a small film. It's not going to be like a superhero movie. They specialize in those kind of indie things.
It makes some good movies though. Midsummer, Hereditary, Uncut Gems. There's some good stuff coming out of A24. Yep.
So one thing we could see more of, and we talked about it a little bit, because they became really big last year, is drive-ins. Do you think we're going to be seeing a lot of people at drive-ins this summer? Because I honestly did not see too many when I went and saw Tenet at the Skyline Drive-In in late September. Of course, I also went on a Sunday night, which is not the ideal time to go.
I hope so. Like, I know there were like a couple that popped up in the Seattle area, but they basically filled up because they were tiny. But I mean, if we really, if they can't get vaccines out faster and people are still waiting all summer, I feel like that would be a good, like, safe way to go see movies. Like, because you're just with people in your household in your car. So it makes, I don't know.
If I had lived closer to a drive-through or a drive-in movie theater, which there aren't really. I mean, there's Shelton, and there's a lot on the peninsula, and there used to be a really good one in kind of like the South Center area, or the South Center Renton area, that I'd gone to a couple times in the past. But I just hope one opens a bit more centrally located, that isn't one of those pop-ups that that just is there for a week. So
yeah, like the Walmart parking lot stuff. Yeah,
I think like Canlis in Seattle did a pop-up drive in this, but it was like it sold out like in a day because they basically could only fit probably like 20 cars or something. Like
Canlis is not a very big parking lot.
Yeah. I mean, I know they've been doing a lot of really interesting things to innovate through the COVID, which is cool. But like, there's got to be somewhere in like Seattle or South Snohomish County that you can like put up a big drive-in. I just feel like
absolutely. Or yeah.
I hope that some places are like in the planning stage right now.
Yeah.
Of like, where can we put this?
Yeah.
Where's a nice big open field that we can just throw a screen on?
Yeah.
It'd be really great. We used to have a 6-screen one down here in Auburn, and it's been gone for about a decade. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, there used to be one in Bellingham. I mean, I would have been willing to drive up to Bellingham to see a movie in a drive-in, but they closed it and made it the Western parking lot, which is not being used right now because schools are online. So get those screens back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our fingers are all collectively crossed that we're going to find a way to see some of these highly anticipated movies this year, some way or another, and hopefully safely. I really don't want to go into my local. Well, for one thing, I can't go into my local Regal because Regal actually haven't opened up again. It's just the AMC's and the Centuries have opened back up. But again, I really don't want to go to my local AMC or Century right now when, I'm still not sure how safe they are. So,
I felt safe when I saw Tenet in September of last year. I felt safe watching it. Granted, it was only me, my girlfriend, and two other people in the movie theater. Very like one was sitting up in the top section, one was sitting down in the bottom section. But I felt safe. Had that theater been with more people, maybe I wouldn't have. But when it's just four people, you can socially distance. And but yeah, I at least felt safe when I saw Tenet last year.
So another interesting thing, the Lincoln Theater in Mount Vernon, where I'm from, they apparently have started. Yeah, they are renting the theater out to people for private viewing parties. So basically, you can rent the theater for your household, family, whatever, and you can pick a movie from their catalog, and they'll like play it on the screen. So maybe that's the other option, is people can rent out a theater. I guess if you have like a lot of extra funds, I don't know.
The Grand in Tacoma is also doing that. And they also, the Grand is also hosting their own virtual screening room where you can pay to watch movies through them online. So I think that's a great way for independent theaters to go about it, because it's a little bit harder to do that same sort of social distance strategy in those independent theaters where the auditoriums are pretty small. And once you get, about 10 people in one of those tiny little theaters, then you start asking, okay, are we safe in here? Mm-hmm. But, you do have a good point, Jalen, that with some of these, big theaters like Centuries and AMCs, if there are only 2 to 4 people in there, you're probably pretty well off.
Yeah.
Because really, this thing is an airborne thing. Obviously you shouldn't be touching your face if you've been touching surfaces, but like just touching surfaces, just wash your dang hands, people. That's all you have to do. Really, it gets to, are there 15 people in the same room as you, and are they coughing?
Yeah. And there's always, like, since this whole thing has started, like, and when you're talking about movie theaters and during a pandemic, I always flash back to that. I don't know if either of you guys remember the 1995 film Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, but there's that scene in it where somebody coughs and you see it all just kind of spread around the theater. And yeah, sorry to bring down the mood there, guys. I just realized what I did there. Outbreak. Weird, ridiculous.
I know. There's not an Outbreak like remake on here. No.
Just if you just watch Contagion again.
Well, I think it's also important to bring up the fact that we're all pretty young and healthy, but like that risk does keep getting higher the older you get. So it's like, man, if I wanted to go see a movie with my mom, like, do I take my mom? Do I take that risk? And there's also the people who are immunocompromised. Like, man, like, until it's rough, because it's not fair for everybody yet to go see movies.
No,
and to be out and about. It's just rough.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why my parents watch my daughter, so we have to be extra careful, because they're a lot more at risk. So that's definitely why I wouldn't be venturing into a theater anytime soon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I guess for me, it's also, I'm already an essential worker, so I'm already going into a warehouse 4 days a week. And, we're doing a decent job social distancing there, but like through December and January, we were having people test positive for COVID like once a week. And I'm not sure how it bypassed me. I mean, even if I was asymptomatic, like that means I brought it home, which means, again, my mom could have gotten it. So It's like, oh man, do I risk doing anything more on top of my job?
Who knows? Well, now you got lots of schools starting to open too. Like basically most of the school districts are now bringing back like young kids, but they have plans to bring back like everybody in the next couple months. So you have that extra like thing going on too. And then if people bring their kids to the theaters and they're like taking their mask off and coughing and like, you know.
I think it's even worse for schools. It's just, I think it's irresponsible because kids are irresponsible, period.
Yeah, it's just giant germ factory.
I've said it before on the show. If you're going to a movie, you could get lucky like you did, Jalen, and have 2 to 4 people in there, and they could all be 4 responsible adults who keep their masks on the whole time. If you go into a theater with a family that has kids, you know,
they might be responsible, but
they might be
probably less likely.
They could take their masks off and run around the entire auditorium willy-nilly.
Yep.
Because that's what they do.
Yep.
So let's end our morbid discussion there and move on to trivia and see if I can stump you all.
All right, trivia.
So, as it's been pretty well established, no one has answered a correct trivia question this year. Not even the Grandmaster, Sarah, who destroyed everyone last year.
Ooh. Not even the Grandmaster. Not even the Grandmaster herself.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right.
So,
challenge accepted.
So tonight's question is actually very appropriate to what we've been talking about here. So several films have been delayed, some pre-pandemic, and the pandemic has only made it far, far worse. I said we were going to get out of morbid talk, and we certainly aren't. So which
right now.
Yeah. So which of the following 4 films has been delayed the longest from its original release date? So I'm going to give you the release date that they're currently set at. So hopefully you can think back to when these movies were supposed to come out. So is it A, Godzilla vs. Kong, currently set to release on March 31st? Is it No Time to Die, currently set to release on October 8th? Is it Dune, currently set to release on October 1st? Or is it Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, currently set to release on March 25th, 2022?
The question was which one has been delayed the longest or the furthest from its original release date.
Yep.
How do we buzz in here?
If you absolutely know the answer, and I'm sure because it's math that no one knows this one right off the top of their heads. But it's whoever wants to.
What was it? A was Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with No Time to Die.
All right. So tonight it is the Grandmaster versus the newcomer. And what do you know? One of you got it right. So congratulations, newcomer.
Oh!
So Godzilla vs. Kong was originally set to release on March 13th of 2020. So it's been delayed a little over a year. Dune was set to release in November 20th, 2020. It's now October, so it's 11 months. Doctor Strange, this is the one that I thought might throw people off, was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was originally set to release on May 7th this year and is coming out now about 10 months later. No Time to Die was originally set to release in early April of 2020. It is the only one of these films that has been delayed for about 18 months, which is a pretty significant chunk of change right there. So congratulations, Jalen.
Yeah.
You're the first person on the board this year.
I'm on the board. Woohoo! It's an honor to go up against you, Grandmaster. I was like, the Doctor Strange one was a really good throw off. That was a really good throw off. So like, crap, when was that supposed to come out?
I was between A and B. But I was like thinking one of those, so I guessed wrong.
I will say that Sarah, you do kind of you get a spiritual like point from me because Godzilla versus Kong, I think, has technically had the most number of delays. I think it's been delayed like 4 or 5 times. Like, because it got pushed from March last year to like September, and then it got pushed to March this year. Then it got pushed back a week. Then it got pushed to May, and then it got moved back into March. So it has had the weirdest like release schedule out of all these movies for sure. All right, so that has been our episode for what is today? February 7th, 2021, episode number 20. So thank you to Sarah and Jalen for joining me tonight to talk about way too many movies. Even if we can actually see all these movies, we're not going to because that's a lot of movies.
A lot of movies.
Yep. So, yeah. Remember, we are the Sunday Matinee. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/truthinfilm, on Twitter at Sunday_matinee. And I am going to get the website for the blog correct tonight. 1 second. At truthinfilm.wordpress.com. And if you're watching this video, congratulations. You found us on YouTube. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because you know what? One day it'd be really cool if I could just do this for a living and not work at a warehouse owned by a evil billionaire. I'm not going to say any names because, you know, but I think you all figured it out by now. So that's our show. Yeah. So that is our show for the night. Next week for Valentine's Day, we should be coming back. You know, God forbid. I don't pay these people, so I can't make them do anything really. We should be back next week to talk about, I don't want to say what, but it is a sacred trilogy, but probably not the one you're thinking of. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Star Trek 2, 3, and 4.
I'm saying nothing.
That's a solid trilogy for the listeners at home.
You're not wrong. And on that note, everybody, have a good night.
Good night.